64 Tacos Podcasts presents Is This Song Good? This is episode 46. U2, Acrobat.
Welcome back to another Is This Song Good podcast. This week we're talking about a U2 song, Acrobat, off Achtung Baby. Achtung Baby had 5 singles, just like last week's album. The Fly, Mysterious Ways, One, Even Better Than the Real Thing, and Who's Gonna Ride Your Wild Horses. I didn't know about that last one. But this song, Acrobat, was not one of those songs. And this album is another album that I listened to a lot, and I still listen to a lot. I think it may have aged the best of all the U2 albums, I would say. But I love every song on this album, so it was really a matter of just choosing one that was not a single. The thing I always found interesting about this song is it's sort of it's... To say it's not melodic is not really fair because pretty much all U2 songs are melodic. But it sort of is more of a sort of like a dense and kind of grinding song. I always like the drums. I always like the it's almost like a punishing rhythm. And then I also kind of liked the this is me when I was 13 listening to this album, but I always liked the line, don't let the bastards grind you down, which I'm sure is stolen from something. But to me, that was a new and clever thing at the time for sure. But yeah, this is one of those songs that when you first listen to the album, you're thinking of Mysterious Ways or One as the big songs, but this is one of those ones that grew on me. Sometimes the songs rather on an album that are a little more difficult to sort of parse out are the ones that you end up liking more later on as they sort of grow on you. And this is an example for me. I really like the sort of dirty, thrashy guitar sound, in the sort of chorus. And I don't know, it just has a sort of for U2, kind of like a punishing sort of attack, which, took a little time for me to get used to when at that age. But now it's one of my very favorite U2 songs. So that's why I wanted to toss it up there. What do you guys think?
Well, I was very surprised to see this one on the list because I could not believe that it wasn't a single. Just like you, this is one of my all-time favorite albums, especially from the 90s. And I can listen to all 12 tracks through without hesitation and go through and listen to them all again over and over again. And this one is one of my favorites of those. So I couldn't believe it wasn't a single. It's just as good as any of the others. Did they just run out of time before they release Pop? Or what?
I think Zooropa. But I think 5 singles was probably enough on an album. But
yeah, no, true. But yeah, I could restate everything you just said. I was really surprised. This should have been a single.
I think the edge really shines not only for the main driving riff that kind of takes the center stage, and apparently I was reading on Wikipedia it's 12/8 time or something, which he said is very common in lots of Irish folksy or Irish type songs, and that it's not very common in modern rock songs as far as I know anyway. And but I think it really does it kind of has that sort of driving thing going for it. But then he does all of his embellishments and soloing little things here and there and little kind of ambiances in the background, but it's very much like Edge's song. It feels like he's kind of propelling it forward and taking it where it needs to go. But that being said, I don't want to downgrade the the Bono lyrics, which are very interesting and very almost I wouldn't really say like stream of consciousness, but kind of very all over the place, but some of them are really cool, like you can kind of read between the lines, and they're appropriate for nowadays with how it seems like we're in a post-truth world and stuff. But I don't really want to go into that too deep on this thing. But I'll also say that I really like the Adam Clayton bass. There are just times where it just kind of like, like I said, the Edge guitar does its thing and is kind of like driving the song, but then all of a sudden it's like, boom, there's the bass, like the bass takes center stage periodically, or it feels like it does, so it's got a lot of great elements, and I agree with you guys. Like it probably should have been a single, or, like it should have gotten more attention than what it actually did. But yeah, it's definitely a good U2 song. And it's nice that not too many people know about it, but we do, and we can enjoy it, from having listened to the album so much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird to think that if you're not a U2 fan, you're just a U2 radio song listener, that you wouldn't know this song. You're missing out on one of their best songs. And to touch on what you said about the lyrics, this was probably one of the first times that I noticed good lyric writing. And maybe a little bit of it's cheesy here and there, but I always liked the line, don't let the bastards grind you down, like Dan. But then the title, song title line where it's, and I must be an acrobat to talk like this and act like that. I just, that imagery of how he's, the different behaviors and all that, not reflecting his words, and that makes him an acrobat. Just I like that metaphor a lot.
Yeah, it's a very Bono thing to write a really dark song talking about how you don't know what to do and how everything has gone bad. But of course, in the chorus, it's more uplifting. You can dream, so dream out loud. Your time's coming around. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Yeah. So this is it's the thing about U2. Like, I think how good some of the early stuff gets obscured by how popular they are, and how sort of, in my opinion, mediocre the last 20 years of U2 has been.
Kind of boring.
Maybe we'll do a deep dive on U2 sometime. But
that's Ride or Die.
Ride or Die. Yeah, it's like Ride or Die.
That's that, which is a tough one because there's a lot to listen to. Yeah. But yeah, this is in the in that stretch from from War to your mileage may vary on pop, but the War to pop, maybe even All You Can't Leave Behind, where they really didn't put a foot wrong, and they kept changing, and they were putting out really great stuff regularly. Do I think this should have been a single? I don't know. It certainly could have been a single. It's a little bit like, noisy and dense, I think, to appeal on the radio. I'd love to have heard it on the radio, but I think the ones they chose, are a little more approachable. But yeah, like you said, Dave, the lyrics, Bono is prone to some cheesiness from time to time, but I think he mostly avoids it in this one. He loves his spiritual references and tosses them in, but that's one of those things that can work, and I think it works here. And yeah, I really cannot think of a thing that it's negative to say about this song. Really, it just works for me on all the levels, and I think it's sort of like prime U2, doing the U2 thing, but also being a little bit darker. That's what Achtung Baby did so well, and this is one of my favorite songs on that album for sure.
All right, so Zach, what do we have next week?
Next week, we're going to be taking a listen to Radiohead's "Climbing Up the Walls."
All right,
so
sounds
tune
good.
in for that. Mm-hmm.
I caught it on audio.